Sometimes you make mistakes and the cards that you bought go down, or maybe you realize you just didn't want them that much in the first place. It's okay to let them go. You can do it, and I'm gonna do it today. Let's data dive. Hey everyone, welcome back to another Market Movers video. My name is Tyler Nethercott, better known as Teapot, and today is a sad day, a bittersweet day at least, because I'm getting ready to let go of a big box of cards, a whole bunch of graded cards. I've got other stuff. This is actually just wave one of a bunch of cards that I'm planning to move between here at Cards HQ. Some of them will go to eBay, maybe some to ComC, but it's time for me to let these cards go. And what I'm gonna go through today is honestly some big mistakes. Mistakes in the sense that I thought some of these cards would go up and they didn't. Or I bought the cards because I thought I really liked them and wanted them. And then I found out I don't. I've also been just doing some consolidation. I've picked up some bigger cards. And so sometimes you've got to have the courage, and I'll use that word, to let the cards go. Don't get caught in that sunk cost fallacy that I've talked about in the past. So I've got a box here. We're going to go through, 40, 50 graded cards here. I'm going to talk you through the rationale of why I bought the card, why I'm getting rid of it now, in the hopes to give you that courage to do the same thing if it's the right decision for your collection or for your investments. So let's get right into it. Okay, so I've got this loaded into my collection, and I've put these into a collection category called selling. I just have a category called selling. You can break your collection down into sub-collections. I've put these ones into selling because these are the ones that I'm gonna move. And one thing that I wanna note is, sometimes it makes sense to sell things to different places. Now, Cards HQ, when they're looking for cards, very often they're looking for stuff that they know is gonna move. Card shops want things that aren't gonna sit on the shelves for an eternity. I know a lot of times people like to comment in our videos that we do in the studio, like, hey, the shelves look pretty bare in the background. How's business going? Business is going great. Business is going really well, so much so that it's hard for them to keep things on the shelves. But what they don't want is that valuable shelf real estate being taken up by, well, the first card that I'm looking at here, which is a Miles Boykin Panini Contenders Team Helmet Auto Red Zone. I bought this card because I'm a Notre Dame fan. I like Notre Dame and I like Michigan State, and Boykin played for Notre Dame. I thought he was going to have a little bit of a breakout season a couple years ago with the Ravens. They were depleted, from receivers like they very often are, and I thought he would have a breakout. He never did. I bought a whole bunch of his cards. They weren't particularly expensive. I had the intention of kind of keeping them for my PC, and then he just sort of faded from the league. So I bought this card. This wasn't a terribly expensive card. Bought it for 20 bucks. It's a PSA 10 rookie auto, parallel. So I thought that's a pretty good card to pick up. I would value this card at like 10 bucks. Honestly, this might even be pop one. I didn't look. Not many of these have sold. In fact, none of them have sold. So I put it in as $10 value. I think a raw one did like $275. So that's obviously a loss. It's not the biggest thing, but that does sting and it does add up when you buy cards in the $20, $30, $40 range and they plummet all the way down to a few dollars. Here's another one, this Lamar Jackson Panini Moments. So this card is actually a pop one as well, PSA 9. And this is my sale from January of earlier this year. So I obviously put this into my collection as costing $70. So this is a really nice card. This set is really, really nice. It's one of my favorites. So why am I getting rid of this card? I have Lamar Jackson's great. He might be in line for another MVP, who knows? I have this card raw, and I got it raw for about half this price. I thought it was a really good deal. And believe it or not, for my PC, just for my PC, I have all these acrylic shelves in my office at home. I kind of prefer putting cards in a one-touch to having graded cards. I know that's a hot take, it's against the grain, and it's nothing against the grading companies whatsoever. I like PSA, but it's just a cost thing. I like to buy a lot of different things, and I can buy raw cards cheaper than I can buy these cards. And if it's not, strictly speaking, a long-term investment piece, it's something that I really think is cool, I'd rather have the one that's not graded if it's cheaper than having the one that's graded. So because this is a pop one, I'm willing to move it. I have another copy. So I actually really like this card. It'd be great to get my money out of it. We'll see what happens. I actually thought this price was a pretty good deal, even at the $70, $61 plus shipping and tax. But we'll see what I get for that. That's one I'll probably see if Cards HQ is interested in. It's a great card. I think that would sell here. We'll see what they would be willing to give me for that card. Here's another one. This is another Moments. This is from 2023 Luminance, and it's A.J. Brown. And I bought this card for $24. And I think that's probably like the only sale. Right, this is a CGC 10. I don't remember where I picked this up, but $24. He's having a good season. The Eagles are on a run. This is one I guess I might hold until the playoffs just to kind of see what happens. Then again, I'm going to be rooting for the Lions, not the Eagles. So maybe I just move it now. But this is one that I just didn't like this design from 2023 Luminance Moments as much as the other years. So I'm actually selling these ones. I've got another raw Jamar Chase that I'm going to sell and a couple others. It's just sort of like I thought I liked the set year over year. I kind of got caught up in the moment. And then I find out, no, I don't really like this card. Here's Mookie Betts, rainbow foil. Now, this is a little confusing because this is not numbered. This is not numbered to 25 like the new rainbow foils in the newer years of Stadium Club, or what are sometimes called rainbow foil board, or what were called in 2014 foil board. Go figure. Topps have, changed something that used to be foil board to 25 to rainbow foil in the future while they had a rainbow foil. People mislabel these all the time, but I bought this card for $147. And this one actually sold recently, $150. So it's right on line with what I bought it for. So I think this was actually my purchase last year, $135 plus taxes and shipping. I always put that in. Again, don't cheat yourself out of it and delude yourself into thinking that you didn't make the money or that you got a better deal on something. Make sure you put in your collection, I would say, what you actually paid for it, fully loaded. So this PSA 9, it's a really cool card. I really like it. I just don't know that it really fits into my PC. So I'm going to move it, making room for some other things. All right, this next one's actually really cool. I've kicked around having it, but you know what? I went on a little bit of like a buying binge for boxing cards a few years ago. I thought they were cool. Boxing is cool, but I really don't actually watch boxing that much. And it just comes down to opportunity cost and everything else. So I've got this Evander Holyfield. I bought this card for $75. I remember buying this on PWCC, and I think it was this sale, this SGC 6, so $69.60. I think this is probably one that the shop would take here, Evander Holyfield, one of the all-time great boxers, at least of his era. So I would imagine that would move on the shelf. I picked up this Chris Sale as a FOMO purchase this year. This one actually worked out okay. I mean, I'll probably break even after taxes and fees, but I bought this kind of going into the playoffs right before that. I had Chris Sale on my fantasy team this year. He did fantastic. He won the Cy Young. I was hoping the Braves would make some noise. And I went to go see Chris Sale pitch in the final game of the season against the Mets here in Atlanta. And I bought this card right before that, only to find out he was a late scratch and then obviously couldn't even pitch in the playoffs, which is a huge bummer because he had such a good year. So this one I should be fine on. I'm sure the shop wants to buy that one. Obviously he's here in Atlanta. That would move no problem. Got this Kyle Tucker, and this is Stadium Club image variations. I actually have a ton of Stadium Club image variations that I'm going to go through in a future video, maybe sometime in the next few weeks, along with a lot of other cards that are not graded that I'm going to be moving. I went on like a binge. You guys know I love Stadium Club. It's one of my favorites. It is my favorite set. I love Stadium Club. And I bought a whole bunch of these cards, and then I was like, I don't really need all of these Stadium Club image variations. And I realized, I've kind of spent a lot of like my hobby budget on these for players and images that I don't really care about. So here's Kyle Tucker. This was actually one that I had bought off of ComC at the time, along with another one that we'll see right when they rolled out their ship directly from ComC to CGC for grading. I thought, let me give it a try. Let me just see how this process goes, how does CGC grade cards, see if I could pick up any defects. I really couldn't. Unfortunately, this one graded an 8.5, which is not what you want to see. So I was into this card for like $50, and I would say that this card, raw, having sold for $26 recently, probably would sell for somewhere in that ballpark in a CGC 8.5. So time to cut my losses on that one. Speaking of cut my losses, Eloy Jimenez just never worked out. I like this photo. It's a cool picture, but Eloy really isn't very good. That White Sox team, became a dumpster fire, and then Eloy's career has sort of gone by that same trajectory with them. I bought this card for $30. You can see purchase details $30, and most recently it sold for $6.50. And we send that off to an Eloy Jimenez fan, if there are any out there. All right, next up, I got a pair of Giannis green ice cards. This was like one of those just dumb, impulsive moments. A seller had these with really nice looking photos, and they had the 2021, the 2022, and the 2023, I believe it was. Maybe it was the 2020. It was a sequence. I'm really into color match cards. I like them a lot. But I forgot my own rule, which is I don't really care about the graded stuff or like a PSA 10 on a pure PC card. So I was bidding on these cards. I bid on all three thinking I would get them, and I ended up only winning 2 of them, which it was at least 2021 and 2022. This one is a fantastic photo. Awesome photo on the 2021. It's a great card. It's obviously him holding the championship trophies, the MVP and the finals championship. It's a Pop 7 in PSA 10. So what? I don't care if it's a Pop 7. It's a cool card. This one actually, just looking at it, looks a little bit off center too. You can see that. So fully loaded, $110 on this card. It just is like a no-brainer. I'm like, why did I buy this? I got to say goodbye to it. The other one, just not a great photo. It's just him dribbling. Giannis not known for like being a ball handler or anything, like so many frustrating Panini photos. It's just him dribbling. That was one that I had paid $80 on that one. I'm sure I'm going to lose money even just with fees, even if those sell for what they did last time. Maybe the shop wants them and somebody else will love to have those in their collection. This card's really cool. I've had this card for a little while. You can see I bought it a little over a year ago. I've kicked around off and on. Do I want it? Do I not? It's a cool card. It is a really cool card. But I've shifted my Giannis PC, and I do have a Giannis PC, over to some other stuff, a lot of Court Kings inserts, other things that I like more than this card for the price. I don't love it in the BGS 9 slab. So this is one that I bought. We'll see what I can get for it. But I'm going to move on from that Giannis. All right, so this next one, Miles Boykin. It's another gold Miles Boykin. Same story here. Paid like $45 for this. I actually got it graded myself. I got a PSA 10. Cool, great. Dumb purchase. Probably worth like 10 bucks now. It's a good photo. I like the photo, but J-Rod. I really love this particular year's design, 2021 Bowman Inception. I bought this card. Thought this is really cool. It's just a great looking card. It's a tweener card. It's not a Bowman first. It's not a rookie card. It's sort of in between. This gold foil just looks awesome. It's a great design. It's the best Bowman Inception design out there. Numbered to 50. I paid $120 for it. I don't even think this is worth, honestly, $100. I don't know. I'd be really surprised if it's worth $100 now. I really would. I think he had a bad season. I thought about holding it to next year, but I'm just going to cut my losses and move on. Got this John Smoltz. I have a little John Smoltz PC too, but I picked up some other cards after this one that I like better. So this was just a timing thing. It's like, this is a really cool card. It's a great X-Fractor. And then I just decided I'm going to move on from it. I'm going to let it go. Time to move on from that particular Smoltz. Next up, when I say I collect a lot of unique stuff, I mean it. This card, 1949 Turf Cigarettes Bing Crosby. So I actually have 2 of these. I have this authentic, and then I have a graded version, and so I decided I'm going to get rid of the authentic. I know this says PSA 3 on my screen. I don't know. This is not an expensive card. I have it valued at $9, so it's a cool card. It's a fun-looking card. I like to collect that collector stuff. I like Bing Crosby music. We got a Mookie Betts. This is the other one that I bought on ComC. These opening day image variations, very, very, very hard to hit. Like, they state them as SP on the checklist. I put SSP. They're more like SSSP. They're very difficult to hit. Not a ton of these out in circulation. This was another ComC purchase that I decided to send to CGC. You can see it's off center. It got an 8.5. I'm not probably, I don't know. We'll see what I get out of this one, but that's one I'll probably talk to the shop about, see if they want to do. I imagine this one they would be interested in. I put it at $66 value only because it got an 8. This was one that I sent. It's a mini. Great card, color match for both teams. Red, Topps mini, Freddie Freeman, Bryce Harper, like dual card. That's just a really cool card. I don't know. It's lost its luster for me. What can I say? Like, it's just, you have to make tough decisions. I've been going through all my cards. I've been pulling them all down off of my shelves, really scrutinizing them and looking at them to say, does this move the needle for me? What does it do? Or would I rather put this towards something else? The big litmus test when you're going through this, if you want to figure out the best process, look at the card, figure out what it's worth, use Market Movers, go download Market Movers, go to marketmoversapp.com and use code DIVE. You'll get 20% off and 2 weeks free. Use Market Movers to figure out the price and then say, would I buy this card today for that price? And if the answer is no, you get rid of it. That's what you do. You sell it. So then you can put it towards something else where the answer is yes. So that's kind of how I've been going through this. Here's another Bing Crosby. This one I actually have 2 copies of as well. So I'm going to let this one go, have it valued at a little under 10 bucks on the PSA 7. Hard to believe, honestly. I mean, there's not a ton of those. I don't know why. I'm one of the few people who likes crooners. 2006 Prince Fielder. He's in his Brewers jersey. It's a rookie card. I went through this little phase where I was like, I'm going to get a rookie card, like a PSA 10 base rookie card of all these like great hitters and players and sort of build this like statistical collection. And I still do that to some extent, but I remember Prince Fielder on the Tigers, not on the Brewers. So that's the Prince Fielder that I liked because I root for the Tigers. This one sold recently for like right around $24. I paid $20. So I don't know, maybe I'll get my money back out of that one. Okay, this is one that's gonna shock all of you. It's gonna shock the world. People, the accusations of being a pump and dump are gonna start. This is my Andre Drummond. It's a 1-of-1. It's a Prism Black Shimmer 1-of-1. Yes, and I'm going to sell it. Why? Because he's in a Cavs jersey. And there's a lot of cards out there of Drummond not in his Pistons jersey, and he's in the Cavs, and he's in the Bulls, and he's in the Lakers, and he's in the Nets, and he's in the Sixers, and he's back in the Sixers, and he's in all the teams that he's been on since he left the Pistons. I remember him fondly from his years with the Pistons. I still watch him. I still like to root for him. I do. But this is a pretty valuable card. I have it valued at $275. I get my money back out of it from what I bought it for, a few years ago. Honestly, I think this was. I had a bunch of my PC cards graded by tag. I just really like that their slabs don't take away from the card. I thought it was really cool, and I wanted to support what they were doing. But I'm going to move this one. I actually already sold the Nebula of that card. Sold the Nebula for $350 to somebody through Instagram. And so that one's been gone for a little bit. Now it's time to sell the Black Shimmer. This is one that I made a mistake on. Again, it was the grade thing, just sort of an idiotic purchase from my own standards of my PC. I paid $70 for this. It is a Pop 1, none higher. Pop 1, none higher. First of all, I prefer coating off. So why did I buy one with the coating on? I prefer coating off for my collection. And I've had this one actually on eBay for a long time. I kept dropping the price, sending offers to people. Probably won't even get $35 out of it. We'll see. I have a raw copy with the peel off. Looks fantastic in a top loader or in a one touch. Perfect for my PC. All right. Tyler Lockett. Speaking of going for these, like, it's not even GOAT. It was just like fantasy heroes, like, cool, I'm gonna get this Tyler Lockett, PSA 10 refractor. And this was not, super duper expensive. It was $46 that I think I purchased it for. And I think I have it valued still at that, having recently sold, maybe for around that ballpark, or if I just put that in there. I probably get less for it. He's not really having a good season, or he's at the back end of his career now, so that was a mistake. I'm not selling the Brick Tamlin. I considered it. This card has been worth more than what I paid for it. This is actually a card that I bought at Cards HQ, so it's not in here because I'm not going to sell it. I put it on my shelf at home. I went back and forth. I was like, you know what? Just legend in the comedy. Got to keep it. This was one of those cards that I was like, this is not as cool as I thought it was going to look in him. I saw this card on eBay, thought, really cool, Travis Kelce, numbered to 5. And I just look at it and I'm like, it doesn't sparkle the way that I thought it would. It just doesn't do enough for me. You can hardly tell that it's a parallel. You got to, it's on the back, it's sort of hidden. Okay, now it's numbered to 5. I paid $68 for it. I'm going to move it. Again, I probably won't get what I wanted out of it. He's not having a huge season. He's at the back end of his career. I've had this card for like 4 years. And I think I even forgot to just update my purchase details in here. But this card, numbered to 50, Ultimate Collection, very popular card, valued around $100. I think I paid like $50 for this. And I traded for it. And I traded it for Marvel PMGs a few, like 4 years ago, before they blew up, when I had bought a whole bunch of them. So the person who I traded for that did very well relative to this card. But I don't know. People like Ultimate Collection. It's cool. They're both like single color patches. I like having Nichiro Pujols dual card, but not that one. Primetime Rookies, Dante Culpepper, another impulse purchase. I remembered, even though it was the divisional rival, with the Lions, I remember Dante Culpepper. Exciting, watching him with Randy Moss. And this is just a really cool acetate card with like sparkles and PSA 10. This was another one that I tried to sell for a long time, and I couldn't get any bites, and so we'll see. I'll probably send it to consignment, honestly. This is Kelvyn Johnson. Love Kelvyn Johnson. Obviously, I love Megatron. Have a ton of his cards. Just don't care about this card that much. That's really kind of the end of the story with that. $20. I have it valued at $20. We'll see what I can get for it. Now we're hitting a bunch of Kobe's, or we'll get into some Kobe's as I go through this. This one being the first one. It says Flair Showcase, Flair Showcase Row 1, and this is a PSA 8. I paid $120 for this. I've actually had this for a little while. Don't pay attention to the purchase dates. It's just whenever I added these to my collection. But I'm moving to raw Kobe rookies in one touches, like a lot of other stuff for my collection. So I have a lot of PSA 9s that you'll see, and it's just a value thing and like a cohesiveness thing. So if I can find nice looking raw Kobe's, that's what I'm moving to with the Kobe's. And then we're down to the last stack here. I decided I'm not gonna move that Neymar. This Gary Payton is a really cool card. A lot of people don't know this. Downtown's first debuted in 2016 Studio Basketball. A lot of people have never even heard of Studio Basketball. Actually, it was a really, really cool set. Really cool set. I like it a lot. This card last sold raw. You can see it's actually come down. It was in the $400 range. Most recently down to $250. But I think I paid $30 for this card 4 years ago, like next to nothing. I would not buy this card today for $250. I would not buy this card for $475. I would not buy it on a train. I wouldn't buy it on a plane. I wouldn't buy this card for that price. For $30, I would buy this card. So it's one where I'm like, it's worth more to somebody else than it's worth to me. So I'm gonna move on. Not gonna sell that Duran yet. Gonna wait until next season starts to sell that one. Miguel Cabrera, Orange, Stadium Club. I was like, yeah, this is gonna tick all the boxes. It's color match, it's whatever, but it's not really color match. It looks nice. It's a good looking card. I don't like the photo. I don't like the photo at all. For this being a Stadium Club card, the photo is really poor, in my opinion. And it's just orange foil. I bought it for 30 bucks. Probably sell it for 30 bucks, so that's what I'm gonna do. This next one, I've got 2 copies. CJ Stroud, Donruss, 2 copies. And you guys remember, I bought this 4 months ago, right before the National, speculating, thinking there would be some buzz around Stroud. The buzz never came before the season. He's had a really disappointing season relative to the hype and the expectation. The Texans, I don't know, they're not playing well right now. Stroud doesn't have much of an offensive line. I know some of you commented that on a recent video. It's true. 35 bucks. I'm not gonna lose my shirt on this one, but I did pay 50 bucks for each of these copies from Cards HQ. So maybe now they'll buy them back from me at a discount. And I'll get 20 bucks a piece for them or something. This card, this one I've gone back and forth on a lot. A couple I'm gonna skip through there that I'm not actually selling. Let's go here. This card's so awesome. It's so awesome, but you know what? I just bought some really awesome other cards that were more expensive that I'm gonna show in a future video. And so I've gotta fund that. I gotta fund it. I can't eat into my kids' chicken nugget budget, so I gotta fund it with this card, this Kobe. And I really like it. I paid way more for this, paid $775 for this card. It's down to like under 500 recently. Kobe stuff has come down a lot. I don't really understand why it's come down as much as it has, but that's the sports card market. And then this one's kind of hovered around the same price point. I paid $535 with taxes and shipping. Bought this from Burbank a couple years ago. Very low population, Pop 37, these Tiffany's. They have the blue foil, very subtle, but one that I have a lot of fond memories of from 1997 Fleer. That's another one that's gonna help fund things. And then we're getting into the Kobe Bryant stack here, the last 4 cards. So these are all like PSA 9s. So I've got his Fleer Metal, and we'll look at that one. And I bought these ones actually like 4 years ago. I think I bought them all off ComC, believe it or not, in PSA 9, and they've all gone up from then. So I'm doing well, ish on these cards. But again, I have raw copies of all of these now in one touches at home. So this one, 60 bucks. I think I paid, what did I say? I paid $25 for this card. this hardwood UD3. UD3 is the set that is so disrespected in my opinion from the 90s. That was a very premium product. This one, 50 bucks. I paid 20. And then last but not least, one that just has iconic vibes for me is just Upper Deck base rookie card. A lot of these out there in PSA 9 and 10 condition. 46 bucks in a PSA 9. So I'm gonna go through these. I'm gonna sell some here. I'm gonna talk to the guys who buy and say, you know, what will we give me for these? If I feel good about it, sure, I'll move it. It's probably gonna be in that 70% range, maybe 80% on some of them if they're feeling nice to me, to get cash, right? And to move that back into my hobby budget. Others, I'll send a consignment. Maybe I'll list them myself as fixed price on eBay, or maybe a few of them would go to ComC. Probably not so much on the graded cards because there's a storage fee and other premium listing costs and things, but it's gonna be nice to get that money in hand. It doesn't feel good when you're going through to say, I won't have to sell these, but I can tell you I've done this before. This isn't the first time I've done this. And when you let them go and they're gone, I've almost never had a card where I'm like, gosh, I really scrutinized that and now I wish I hadn't got rid of it. It happens. Usually it's one that I sort of almost impulsively sell for one reason or another. I'm gonna let them go. Don't think I'll particularly miss any of them too much, and I'll know that I put those into other cards that I'm really enjoying having in my collection. So let me know down in the comments, have you had to go through this process yet? Are you putting it off? Because I do put it off sometimes. It's painful, it's hard. We like to collect our cards, but it is important, and you can put it back into your hobby budget and then turn it into something else that you're really happy to own. So I'd love to hear about your experience with that. If you have any other tips about that process, just how you sort them and to make that decision, make sure to let us know down there too. Let's get the conversation started. And if you would please, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Go check out Market Movers, give me a thumbs up. And until next time, happy investing, keep on collecting, and make sure to have fun.